My beloved child, prepare your heart. There is a reason these words stopped you today. Pack your bags. Your life will never be the same. Do not dismiss them as a figure of speech. Do not rush past this moment as though it were meant for someone else. I have drawn your attention here because I am calling you to be ready. Not merely for a change of circumstances, but for a change of heart, a change of perspective, and a new season that will require you to trust me in ways you never have before. You did not arrive here by accident. Before you pressed play, I already knew the questions weighing on your mind, the battles hidden behind your smile, and the silent prayers you have carried for so long. I have seen your weariness. I have watched you wrestle with uncertainty, wondering if the season you are in will ever end. You have waited for doors to open, for answers to come, for hope to feel real again. Even when you felt forgotten, I was quietly preparing what you could not yet see. That is why I am asking you to be ready. Sometimes, when I begin something new, it does not look the way you expected. Before new ground is reached, old ground must often be left behind. Before fresh joy is embraced, familiar fears must be surrendered. There are burdens you have carried for too long, disappointments that have convinced you to stop expecting good things, and habits of worry that have quietly become your companions. My child, you cannot carry every weight from yesterday into the tomorrow I am preparing for you. If you choose to move past this message without listening, you may miss the invitation to examine what your heart has been holding onto. You may overlook the courage I am offering you to release fear, bitterness, or hopelessness. But if you remain, if you open your heart to my voice, you may begin to see that I have not abandoned your story. You may discover that the waiting has not been empty, the delays have not been meaningless, and the road ahead is not one you must walk alone. Beloved, I know you have wondered whether change is still possible. I know there were moments when you questioned whether your prayers had reached me. Hear this truth. I have been near every step of the way. I have not forgotten your name, your dreams, or the promises that continue to shape your journey. Even in seasons that felt still, I was working in ways beyond your sight, strengthening you for what lies ahead. So, when I say, pack your bags, hear the deeper invitation. Prepare your spirit. Release what has held you back. Be willing to leave behind despair, resentment, and the belief that tomorrow must look like yesterday. I am inviting you into renewed trust, renewed hope, and renewed purpose. Stay with me now. Listen carefully, because what follows is not simply about where you are going. It is about who you are becoming. This is the beginning of a message that calls you to walk forward with faith, ready to receive what I have been preparing for you all along. My child, something inside you has been changing for longer than you realize. You have tried to keep moving like everything is normal, but your heart no longer feels fully connected to the life around you. The places that once felt comfortable now leave you feeling unsettled after the excitement fades. Conversations that used to hold your attention feel empty in ways you cannot explain. Even when you try to rest, your spirit keeps searching for something deeper. You have asked yourself why nothing feels the same anymore, and part of you worries that something is wrong with you. But I need you to understand that this feeling is not punishment. It is preparation. I have been quietly leading you toward a new season, even while you were trying to hold together the old one. There are moments when I begin pulling my children away from environments they have outgrown spiritually and emotionally. It does not always happen through dramatic signs. Sometimes it begins with a gentle discomfort that keeps growing until you finally realize you cannot stay where you are forever. You may still love certain people. You may still appreciate parts of your current life. But deep inside, you already know your soul cannot settle there anymore. That realization has frightened you at times. You wonder what will happen if you let go of what feels familiar. You think about the security of what you already know, even if it no longer brings peace to your heart. Leaving behind an old season can feel painful because you spent so much time trying to survive it. You built routines there. You created memories there. Part of your identity became attached to it. But my child, not every place that sheltered you was meant to become your permanent home. I have seen how tired you have become carrying responsibilities, disappointments, and silent worries that nobody fully understands. You kept telling yourself to hold on a little longer, hoping things would suddenly feel right again. Yet the more time passes, the more you feel this quiet pull inside your spirit telling you that change is coming. That feeling is not your imagination. It is me preparing your heart before I move your life. Right now, you do not need every answer. You do not need to see the entire road ahead before taking the next step with me. I know the unknown makes you nervous. I know you are afraid of making mistakes or losing things that still matter to you. But I would never call you forward without already preparing a place for you to arrive. The life ahead of you will require faith in ways your old life never did, but it will also bring a peace your current season has been unable to give you. Let me know your feedback on this version before I continue to message point 2. My child, the restlessness inside you did not appear without reason. You have tried to calm it with distractions, routines, and familiar comforts, but nothing has fully quieted it. Even during moments when everything around you seemed stable, something inside your spirit kept whispering that your life was meant to move in a different direction. You noticed it during quiet evenings, when your thoughts became too loud to ignore. You felt it while smiling through conversations that no longer reached your heart the way they once did. There were moments when you looked around at your life and wondered why you still felt unsettled after working so hard to hold everything together. Listen to me carefully now. Do not mistake spiritual stirring for failure. What you are feeling is not emptiness without purpose. I have been awakening parts of your heart that became buried under survival, disappointment, and exhaustion. For a long time, you focused on getting through each day. You carried responsibilities that drained you emotionally, while still trying to remain strong for everyone around you. I saw how tired you became. I saw the hidden pressure you never explained to anyone because you thought nobody would truly understand it. Yet even in those moments, I stayed close beside you. You keep asking why certain things no longer satisfy you. The answer is simple, my child. Your spirit has started recognizing that you were created for more than maintenance and routine. There is a difference between existing and truly living. You have spent too much time shrinking your desires just to survive environments that slowly disconnected you from joy. Now your soul reacts whenever you try to settle for less than what I planted inside you. Do not run from this discomfort. Sit with it for a moment. Let it speak honestly to you. Some of the frustration you feel comes from staying connected to places, habits, and expectations that no longer match who you are becoming. That is why your heart feels divided. One part of you wants the safety of familiarity. Another part quietly longs for freedom, movement, and deeper purpose. I know this tension feels heavy at times, but it is often the beginning of transformation. I want you to stop apologizing for outgrowing things that no longer bring life into your spirit. Stop forcing yourself to remain where peace has already left. Open your heart and pay attention to what your soul has been trying to tell you. The restlessness is not there to torment you. It is there to wake you up before you spend years trapped inside a life that no longer reflects who you truly are. Come closer to me now. Breathe slowly and release the pressure to understand every detail immediately. You do not need to solve your entire future tonight. I am only asking you to acknowledge what your spirit already knows. Something is changing inside you, and this change is not meant to destroy your life. It is meant to lead you toward the one I prepared for you long ago. My child, some of the pain you carry comes from doors that never opened no matter how hard you tried. You prayed over certain opportunities. You begged me to make situations work. You invested your energy, your emotions, and your hope into people and plans you believed would finally bring peace into your life. When those things collapsed or slipped away, you felt confused. Part of you even wondered if I had forgotten you. But I need you to hear me honestly now. Some doors stayed closed because I could see what you could not. You were looking at temporary relief while I was protecting your future. You saw potential in certain places that were never designed to hold your destiny. There were environments that slowly drained your spirit while convincing you to stay because they felt familiar. There were relationships you fought to keep alive even after they started damaging your peace. I watched you carry heartbreak over things that would have eventually broken you in ways you were not prepared for. That is why I stepped in quietly and stopped certain paths from moving forward. At the time, it felt unfair to you. You questioned yourself constantly. You replayed conversations in your mind searching for answers. You thought maybe you had failed. Maybe you were not good enough. Maybe you missed your chance. But my child, closed doors are not always rejection. Sometimes they are rescue wearing uncomfortable clothing. Sometimes my protection feels painful before it finally makes sense. I want you to stop measuring your worth by what did not happen. Do not stand outside locked doors begging for access to places where your spirit would have slowly disappeared. Let go of the belief that every unanswered prayer was punishment. I know you cannot yet see the full picture, but I have been guiding you away from things that would have delayed your healing, weakened your faith, and buried the person you are becoming. Take a moment and look honestly at your life. Some of the things you once cried over no longer fit the version of you standing here today. The person you are becoming needs different surroundings, different priorities, and deeper peace. You are not losing your life, my child. You are leaving behind versions of it that could no longer carry your future. So stop forcing doors open with exhausted hands. Release the pressure to chase what keeps resisting your spirit. Trust me enough to believe that if I removed something, I already saw where that road would lead. There are better places ahead of you. There are people who will not require you to betray yourself just to be accepted. There are opportunities waiting that will not steal your peace in exchange for success. Let the closed doors remain closed. Do not return to them emotionally. Do not build your identity around what failed. Lift your head now and keep walking with me. I am not leading you backward into loss. I am leading you forward into a life that finally fits the soul I created inside you. My child, you have been carrying a kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. It is the heaviness that settles into your spirit when you stay too long in places that no longer nourish your heart. You kept telling yourself to be patient, to hold everything together, to keep adjusting and adapting because you thought eventually the emptiness would disappear. But instead, you started feeling disconnected from yourself. You learned how to function while quietly losing pieces of your joy along the way. I watched you try to convince yourself that you were grateful enough, strong enough, disciplined enough to remain where you were. Yet every day became harder to ignore. Your smile started feeling rehearsed in certain rooms. Your energy faded around people who once felt comforting. Even moments that should have brought excitement began leaving you strangely numb after they passed. You questioned yourself because you did not understand why your heart could no longer fully rest where it used to belong. Listen to me now. Stop calling your spiritual exhaustion weakness. Stop blaming yourself for feeling drained in environments that have already completed their assignment in your life. Some places are meant to shelter you temporarily while I shape you, heal you, and prepare you. But when you stay past the season I intended, your spirit begins carrying weight it was never designed to hold permanently. You have spent too much time forcing yourself to fit inside spaces that no longer reflect who you are becoming. That pressure has affected you more deeply than you realize. It is difficult to hear my voice clearly when your soul feels crowded by constant internal conflict. Part of you knows change is necessary. Another part fears disappointing people, losing stability, or stepping into uncertainty. That tension has followed you quietly for months, maybe even years. I want you to pause and be honest with yourself tonight. Are you truly living, or have you only been surviving? There is a difference, my child. Survival teaches you how to endure pain. Living allows your spirit to breathe again. You were never created to spend your entire life emotionally trapped inside situations that slowly silence your peace. Do not misunderstand me. Outgrowing something does not always mean it was evil or meaningless. Some chapters were necessary for your growth. Some people helped you through difficult seasons. But you cannot keep shrinking your spirit just to preserve comfort that no longer carries life inside it. Open your hands now. Release the fear of what others may think. Release the guilt attached to moving forward. Come closer to me and let me show you who you are becoming. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom or move recklessly. I am asking you to stop ignoring the quiet truth inside your spirit. Your heart has been aching because deep down, you already know your life cannot remain where it is forever. Trust me enough to admit that honestly. Once you do, healing can finally begin. My child, as you begin releasing the places that no longer carry life for your spirit, do not ignore the opportunity to help others hear this same awakening before their hearts grow numb in silence. Every seed you sow into this mission becomes oil for lamps burning in dark places, reaching souls who are exhausted, forgotten, and desperate for hope. Did I not say, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over"? I am breathing that promise over you even now. When you give through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the video description, you are not funding a channel. You are helping carry my voice into hearts standing on the edge of surrender. I see those who respond quickly when I place compassion inside their spirit, and I multiply what flows through willing hands. This is not a random moment. It is a divine invitation connected to the very season of transition I am walking you through. Do not scroll past this prompting while your spirit is burning with conviction. So now, support this mission now, and let your obedience become part of someone else's healing tonight. My child, comfort can become dangerous when it keeps you from growing. I know there are parts of your life that feel familiar enough to stay in, even if they no longer bring peace into your spirit. Familiarity has a way of convincing you that staying still is safer than trusting me with change. That is why you have wrestled so much internally. One side of you longs for something new, while the other side clings tightly to what feels predictable. I have watched you hesitate at the edge of decisions because you fear what might happen if you finally let go. You think about everything you could lose. You replay worst-case scenarios inside your mind late at night. You wonder whether you are truly capable of handling what comes next. But I need you to understand something important. Growth rarely begins inside perfect comfort. Most of the deeper work I do in your life starts when I gently pull you away from what has become too small for your calling. You keep asking me for clarity while holding tightly to situations that cloud your vision. Open your heart now and listen carefully. Some comfort zones are quietly draining your courage. They keep you surrounded by routines that feel safe while your spirit slowly loses its fire. You were not created to spend your life hiding inside emotional safety nets that prevent you from becoming who I designed you to be. I know change feels risky to you. I know uncertainty makes your chest tighten with fear sometimes. Yet look back honestly at your journey. Many of the moments that shaped you most deeply began with discomfort. Some of the blessings you treasure now were born from seasons you once begged me to remove. At the time, you could not see what I was building. You only saw inconvenience, delay, or loss. But I was creating strength inside you that comfort never could have produced. You not resist me when I begin loosening your grip on things that no longer align with your future. Let me lead you. Stop trying to negotiate with seasons that have already ended. You cannot carry your next chapter while dragging old emotional baggage behind you. Set it down gently. Breathe for a moment. Allow yourself to admit that part of your fear comes from not wanting to start over emotionally. But listen closely, my child. You are not starting from nothing. You are moving forward with wisdom, experience, discernment, and strength that you did not possess before. I have been preparing you quietly through every difficult season you survived. Even now, while you feel uncertain, I am already walking ahead of you, clearing paths you cannot yet see. Take my hand and stop measuring your future by the comfort of your current surroundings. There is more waiting for you than the life you have been settling for. Trust me enough to move when I ask you to move. Your peace will return once you stop fighting the direction your spirit already knows is necessary. My child, there were seasons when you thought nothing was changing because you could not see movement with your eyes. You prayed, waited, hoped, and still woke up to the same routines, the same unanswered questions, and the same uncertainty pressing against your heart. Some days felt so quiet that you wondered if I had stepped away from your life entirely. You tried to remain faithful, but deep inside, discouragement slowly crept into your thoughts. You began asking yourself whether your waiting even mattered anymore. Come closer and listen carefully to me now. Silence does not mean absence. Just because you could not see doors opening does not mean I was doing nothing. I have been preparing things for you in places your eyes could not reach yet. While you were worrying about timing, I was arranging details. While you were grieving delays, I was protecting you from arriving too early. There are blessings that require preparation on both sides. Sometimes I must shape the opportunity before I place you inside it. Other times I must shape you first. You often measure progress by visible change, but many of the most important transformations happen quietly beneath the surface. Think about how roots grow underground before fruit appears above it. In the same way, I have been building strength inside you that nobody else can fully see yet. Your patience, your discernment, your emotional endurance, your ability to hear my voice more clearly during lonely seasons. All of this has been part of your preparation. I know the waiting frustrated you. There were nights when you felt forgotten watching other people move forward while your own life seemed frozen in place. You questioned whether you had missed your moment. You feared that time was slipping away from you. But my child, stop comparing your journey to what others are displaying publicly. You do not know the full weight they carry, and they do not know the work I am doing inside you. I want you to stop calling your hidden season wasted time. Some of the greatest preparation in your life happened when nobody applauded you, noticed you, or understood what you were enduring. Those quiet battles shaped your spirit in ways success alone never could. Sit with me for a moment and look back honestly. You are not the same person you were a year ago. Your heart sees differently now. Your spirit responds differently now. Even your prayers have changed. So breathe deeply and release the fear that nothing is happening. I am still working, even in silence. I am still arranging what you cannot yet see. Trust my timing instead of forcing your own. Let me finish preparing what belongs to you. The life ahead of you requires a stronger, wiser, and more grounded version of you. And that is exactly what I have been building during the hidden seasons you almost gave up on. My child, some of the hardest pain you carried came from watching people slowly drift away from you. You did not always understand why certain relationships change. There were people you prayed would stay forever. You invested love, loyalty, time, and trust into them. You imagined they would walk beside you through every chapter ahead. So when distance started growing between you, it wounded your heart more deeply than you admitted to anyone else. I saw the confusion you felt when conversations became colder. I saw you replay moments in your mind trying to understand what changed. Part of you blamed yourself. You wondered if you had become too emotional, too distant, too difficult, or somehow not enough. But I need you to stop carrying responsibility for every ending that happened in your life. Some people drifted because their assignment in your journey was complete, even if your heart wanted more time. Listen to me honestly now. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to remain in every season of it. Some people are present to help you survive one chapter, but they are not prepared to walk with you into the next one. That truth hurts because you loved them sincerely. You wanted consistency. You wanted permanence. Yet sometimes I remove people quietly because their presence can no longer support the direction I am leading you toward. Do not chase relationships that require you to abandon your peace just to keep them alive. Stop exhausting yourself trying to earn closeness from people who have already emotionally stepped away. I know rejection cuts deeply into your spirit. I know abandonment awakens fears you tried hard to bury. But you must understand something important, my child. Every person who leaves is not taking your value with them. Some departures protected you in ways you could not recognize at the time. There were people connected to old versions of you that could not grow alongside who you are becoming now. Others carried wounds, habits, or mindsets that would have slowly damaged your future if they had remained close. I know you still miss certain people sometimes. I know there are moments when memories return unexpectedly and leave your chest feeling heavy. Bring that pain to me honestly. Do not hide it. But also stop romanticizing seasons that were quietly draining your spirit. Ask yourself whether those relationships truly brought peace into your life or whether you became addicted to the comfort of familiarity. There is a difference. Some connections survive only because you keep carrying all the emotional weight alone. Release the people you cannot force to stay. Open your hands instead of tightening your grip. Let me guide the relationships meant for your future. The right people will not require you to betray your growth, silence your spirit, or constantly beg for emotional presence. Trust me enough to believe that who remains in your life after this season will align more deeply with the person you are becoming, not just the person you used to be. My child, I know why you hesitate when you feel me calling you forward. The unknown has always frightened the human heart. Even when a situation becomes exhausting, there is still comfort in recognizing the walls around you. You know the routines there. You know the disappointments there. You know what to expect when each day begins. And strangely, familiarity can start feeling safer than freedom, even when your spirit quietly aches inside it. I have watched you wrestle with decisions in silence. You imagine what could go wrong if you finally release what no longer fits your life. Your mind drifts toward loss before it imagines possibility. You think about the people who may not understand your growth. You think about the security you could lose. You wonder whether you are truly prepared for what waits on the other side of obedience. Some nights, fear has spoken so loudly inside you that it almost convinced you to settle permanently for a life that no longer carries peace. Come closer and listen carefully to me now. Fear becomes powerful when you keep feeding it with imagined disasters instead of trusting my guidance. I am not asking you to pretend uncertainty feels easy. I know transition stretches your emotions. I know there are moments when your chest tightens simply thinking about change. But do not allow fear to make permanent decisions for your future. Fear only shows you what could fall apart. I show you what can finally come alive. You have already survived seasons you once thought would destroy you completely. Remember that. There were heartbreaks you believed you would never recover from. There were nights when your mind felt crowded with anxiety and exhaustion. Yet somehow, I carried you through all of it. You are stronger now than you were before those storms touched your life. Stop speaking to yourself as if you are still fragile in the same ways. I want you to release the belief that safety and purpose are always found in the same place. Sometimes the life I prepared for you exists beyond the comfort you keep clinging to. Open your hands slowly now. Stop gripping old seasons so tightly that you leave no room for what I am trying to place into your life. Let your spirit breathe again. Let yourself imagine something larger than survival. Do not rush ahead recklessly, but do not hide behind fear either. Sit with me in honesty. Admit what scares you. Bring me your questions instead of burying them beneath fake confidence. I can guide a willing heart, my child. What I cannot do is force movement from someone determined to stay emotionally trapped inside old seasons forever. Take one step toward trust today. Not 10 steps. Not the entire journey. Just one honest step. Sometimes freedom begins quietly, with a single moment where you finally admit that your current life no longer fits the future growing inside your spirit. My child, every step you take away from fear opens the door for another soul to find freedom too. There are people trapped in silent battles right now, terrified to leave old seasons behind. And I am using this message like fire in the night to guide them home. The seed you release today through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description becomes living water flowing into places you may never see with your natural eyes. Remember when I said, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you." I am still speaking those words over every obedient heart that trusts me enough to give while the future remains unseen. Do not underestimate what happens when my children move in faith instead of fear. I can multiply a small offering into a harvest that reaches thousands carrying hidden pain. Heaven notices those who build what spreads my truth during critical seasons like this. Act now, give boldly, and become part of the movement I am raising in this hour. My child, you have been carrying more than most people realize. There are burdens sitting quietly on your shoulders that nobody fully sees because you became skilled at hiding your exhaustion behind ordinary conversations and daily responsibilities. You kept showing up. You kept answering messages, paying bills, helping others, smiling politely, and trying to remain dependable even while your inner world felt heavy. Over time, you stopped asking whether you were okay because survival became your normal routine. I saw every moment you forced yourself to keep going after your spirit already felt drained. I watched you lie awake at night replaying worries you could not silence. Your mind became crowded with pressure, unanswered questions, financial stress, emotional disappointment, and fears about the future. Some days you woke up already exhausted before the day had even begun. Yet you still pushed yourself forward because you thought resting would somehow mean failure. Come sit with me for a moment and stop pretending you are not tired. You do not need to perform strength in front of me. I already know where your heart feels worn thin. I know how deeply certain disappointments affected you, even when you acted like they did not matter. I know there are wounds you never explained because you feared becoming a burden to others. But my child, carrying everything alone was never my desire for you. You have spent too much time trying to hold together parts of your life that are pulling against your peace. Your body continued moving, but your spirit quietly begged for rest. That kind of exhaustion reaches deeper than physical tiredness. It touches your emotions, your thoughts, your hope, and even your ability to dream about the future. There were moments when life felt like a mountain made of stone standing directly in front of you every single morning. I do not want you to keep living as though your worth depends on how much pain you can silently endure. Lay your burdens down here with me. Stop carrying pressure that was never assigned to your shoulders in the first place. Some things you are trying to control belong in my hands, not yours. Release them slowly. Breathe deeply. Allow yourself to admit that you need help emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Rest is not weakness. Needing peace does not make you irresponsible. Even your heart needs room to recover from the battles it has survived. Let me quiet the noise inside your thoughts for a while. Step away from the constant pressure to have every answer immediately. You are not failing because you feel exhausted. You are human, my child, and humans grow weary when they carry too much for too long. Stay near me now. Do not run back toward distraction the moment your emotions begin surfacing honestly. Healing often begins the moment you stop pretending you are fine. And I promise you this, I will not shame you for being tired. I only want you to stop suffering in silence while believing you must carry the entire weight of your life alone. My child, there is something I need you to notice honestly about your life. You have spent so much time trying to create stability that you slowly stopped asking yourself whether your spirit still felt alive inside the life you built. Comfort became your goal because you were tired of pain, tired of uncertainty, tired of emotional chaos. I understand why you wanted peace. After everything you survived, safety felt precious to you. But somewhere along the way, comfort started replacing purpose, and your soul began feeling the weight of that quietly. You learned how to function inside routines that no longer inspired you. You woke up, handled responsibilities, completed tasks, and repeated the same cycles while convincing yourself this was enough. Yet deep inside, your spirit kept whispering that something was missing. There were moments when you caught yourself staring into silence after busy days, wondering why your heart still felt disconnected. You could not explain it fully because nothing looked completely wrong on the outside. But inwardly, your soul felt dimmer than it once did. Come closer and listen carefully now. There is a difference between living peacefully and emotionally disappearing inside predictable routines. Comfort can become a soft prison when it keeps you from growing, risking, loving, creating, healing, and trusting me more deeply. Some people spend years inside lives that feel stable but leave their spirits starving quietly beneath the surface. I never created you only to maintain existence until your days pass by unnoticed. I want you to stop confusing numbness with peace. Real peace brings life into your spirit. It creates room for joy, clarity, purpose, and connection. Numbness simply teaches you how to avoid pain while also avoiding deeper living. You were made for more than emotional survival. There are dreams, gifts, relationships, and experiences inside your future that require your heart to wake up again. Think about the version of yourself that once believed life could still surprise you. That person is not gone, my child. Buried underneath disappointment and exhaustion, your spirit still carries desire for something real. That longing you feel sometimes when you imagine a different future is not foolishness. It is your soul recognizing that you were not designed to remain emotionally asleep forever. So stop settling for routines that leave your heart empty. Stop silencing the parts of yourself that still hope for something meaningful. Sit with me honestly and ask yourself difficult questions. Does your current life allow your spirit to breathe, or does it simply keep you occupied enough to ignore your deeper hunger? Be brave enough to answer truthfully. I am not asking you to destroy your life recklessly searching for excitement. I am asking you to stop abandoning your soul in exchange for temporary comfort. Let me lead you toward a life where your spirit feels awake again. You deserve more than survival, my child. You deserve to feel fully alive inside the purpose I created specifically for you. My child, one of the clearest signs that a season is ending is the growing discomfort you feel trying to remain where you once felt settled. You have noticed it quietly building inside you. Things that used to excite you no longer carry the same meaning. Places that once felt familiar now leave your spirit strangely restless. Even conversations have started feeling different because your heart no longer connects with certain environments the way it once did. At first, you tried to ignore these feelings because change seemed inconvenient and uncomfortable. But the more time passes, the harder it becomes to silence what your spirit already knows. I need you to pay attention instead of dismissing these shifts as random emotions. Your soul recognizes transitions before your mind fully understands them. That is why confusion sometimes increases right before major change arrives. You begin feeling disconnected from old patterns before the new direction becomes visible. It can feel unsettling standing between two seasons without fully belonging to either one. Yet this in-between place is often where I prepare your heart most deeply. You have been trying to revive things that no longer carry life for you. I saw you returning emotionally to situations that already lost their peace, hoping somehow they would feel different again. But my child, when a season has fulfilled its purpose, forcing yourself to remain there only creates more exhaustion. Stop trying to resurrect chapters I already closed gently in your life. Let them rest. Notice how your desires have started changing. Notice how your tolerance for certain environments has weakened. Even your prayers sound different now. You are asking deeper questions because your spirit is growing beyond what once satisfied you. That growth may feel lonely at times because not everyone around you understands what is happening inside you. Some people may even resist the changes they sense in you because your growth reminds them of areas where they remain stuck. Do not let guilt pull you backward emotionally. You are allowed to outgrow seasons without hating them. You are allowed to acknowledge that certain places helped shape you while still recognizing they cannot carry your future. Open your heart and stop fighting the transition. Resistance only increases the pain of change. Come sit with me quietly for a moment and release the pressure to understand every detail immediately. You do not need complete clarity before trusting what your spirit already feels. Some endings arrive softly before they become visible externally. Trust the shift you sense inside yourself. I have been preparing you for this longer than you realize. Your current season is ending because your life is making room for something new. Stop mourning every closed chapter as if loss is the only thing ahead of you. There are fresh beginnings waiting beyond this transition. There is growth, healing, purpose, and deeper peace waiting on the other side of your obedience. Let go gently now. Do not fear what comes next. I will walk with you through every part of this change. My child, I know how frustrating the waiting has been for you. There were moments when you prayed with complete sincerity, believing things would finally move forward, only to watch another door remain closed or another opportunity slip through your hands. You tried to stay hopeful, but disappointment slowly began settling into your spirit. Some nights you sat quietly asking me questions you were almost afraid to say out loud. You wondered if I heard you at all. You wondered whether your life had somehow fallen behind while everyone else seemed to keep moving forward. Come closer now and let me speak gently into those fears. The delays in your life were never punishment. They were protection, preparation, and timing working together in ways you could not fully see. I know you wanted immediate answers because pain makes waiting feel unbearable. But if I had given you certain things too early, they would have crushed parts of you that were not ready yet. Some blessings require deeper emotional strength than you realized. Some opportunities demand wisdom that can only be built slowly over time. You kept focusing on the closed door while I was paying attention to the condition of your heart. There were areas inside you that still needed healing before you could safely carry what you were asking for. I was teaching you discernment in the waiting. I was teaching you patience, endurance, and trust beneath the surface of your frustration. None of that growth felt exciting while you were living through it, but it mattered more than you know now. Look back honestly for a moment. The version of you standing here today understands things your younger self could not have handled wisely. You see people differently now. You recognize warning signs more clearly. Your priorities have shifted. Even your prayers carry more depth because suffering softened parts of your spirit that once depended too heavily on control. I want you to stop interpreting delay as rejection. Stop assuming silence means abandonment. Some things took longer because your future required careful preparation, not rushed arrival. If I moved too quickly, you would have entered situations emotionally unprepared, spiritually distracted, and vulnerable to choices that could have damaged your peace deeply. Release the pressure to compare your timeline with anyone else's journey. What belongs to you does not need to be forced through panic, desperation, or exhaustion. Trust my pacing, even when it stretches your patience. I know exactly where your life is headed, and I have not lost sight of you for a single moment. Sit with me quietly and let your heart breathe again. You are not behind, forgotten, or overlooked. The waiting season shaped you in ways success alone never could. One day you will look back and realize that some of the delays you cried over were actually the greatest acts of love and protection I ever gave you. My child, the delays that shaped your life also prepared your heart to understand the value of obedience when I place an opportunity before you. This message is reaching people who nearly gave up during their waiting season, and your support helps keep this river of encouragement flowing to weary souls across the earth. Every gift through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description becomes seed planted into fertile spiritual ground, and the harvest attached to obedience is greater than you realize. Did I not promise that those who sow in tears will reap with joy? I am watching every act of generosity done with sincerity, and I know how to return favor, provision, and peace back into the lives of my children. Some of you have prayed for breakthrough while holding tightly to fear around giving, but tonight I am asking you to trust me differently. This is more than supporting content. This is partnering with a mission that carries light into heavy places. Do not delay your response while your spirit feels this stirring. Give now, move in faith now, and let your offering become part of someone else's answered prayer. My child, I know how exhausting it feels to carry faith and fear in the same heart at the same time. Part of you wants to trust me fully. You want to believe that your future is secure in my hands, and that everything happening now is leading somewhere meaningful. Yet another part of you keeps replaying worst-case scenarios late at night. Fear slips quietly into your thoughts and starts asking difficult questions. What if things do not work out? What if you fail? What if you step forward and everything falls apart? You have battled these thoughts silently more times than anyone realizes. Some days your faith feels steady and peaceful. Other days anxiety rises like waves inside your chest, making even small decisions feel heavy. I have seen you trying to appear calm outwardly while inwardly wrestling with uncertainty. You kept asking yourself whether real faith should feel stronger than this. But listen carefully, my child. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is choosing to keep moving even while fear still whispers nearby. I never expected you to become emotionless before trusting me. I understand your humanity completely. I know your past disappointments shaped some of these fears. Certain wounds taught you to expect loss before joy, rejection before acceptance, heartbreak before peace. That history affected your spirit more deeply than you sometimes admit. But I want you to stop allowing old pain to define your future before it even arrives. Come sit with me honestly for a moment. Stop pretending fear does not exist. Bring it into the light instead of hiding it behind forced confidence. Speak your worries openly to me. I already know them, but your heart needs the freedom of honesty. Fear grows louder in secrecy. It weakens when you place it before me without shame. You keep waiting for certainty before taking steps forward, but certainty is rarely how faith grows. Trust develops gradually while you walk beside me through uncertainty. Think about all the times you survived situations you once believed would destroy you. At the beginning of those seasons, you felt terrified too. Yet somehow I carried you through each one. Remember that when fear tries convincing you that you are too weak for what lies ahead, do not allow your imagination to build prisons around your future. Fear loves creating mountains out of moments that have not even happened yet. Step away from those thoughts. Breathe deeply and return your attention to my voice instead. I am not leading you toward destruction. I am leading you toward growth, healing, wisdom, and deeper peace. Take my hand now and stop demanding perfect clarity before you trust me. You already have enough light for the next step. Walk with me through the uncertainty instead of standing frozen at the edge of it. Your faith does not need to be flawless to move forward. It only needs to remain willing. My child, one of the reasons you have felt so overwhelmed is because you keep pressuring yourself to understand the entire future before taking the next step. You sit quietly with your thoughts, trying to solve every possible outcome in advance. Your mind races through questions about timing, finances, relationships, stability, and whether you are truly capable of handling what lies ahead. Sometimes the weight of needing certainty becomes so heavy that you freeze emotionally before you even begin moving. Come sit with me for a moment and release that pressure from your shoulders. I never asked you to carry the burden of knowing everything ahead of time. I never expected you to map every detail of your life perfectly before trusting me. You keep believing that clarity must come first and peace will follow afterward. But often, peace arrives while you are walking beside me through uncertainty, not before it. I know your desire for control comes from places of pain. There were seasons when I expected loss caught you off guard. There were moments when people disappointed you, plans collapsed suddenly, and stability disappeared faster than you imagined possible. Those experiences taught you to overthink because part of you believes preparation can prevent heartbreak. But my child, trying to control every outcome is exhausting your spirit far more than you realize. You do not need to carry tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. Stay here with me in today. Breathe deeply and let your thoughts slow down for a moment. I want you to notice how much energy you spend worrying about situations that have not even happened yet. Fear keeps asking you for answers I never intended you to have all at once. Trust does not work that way. Trust grows step by step, conversation by conversation, season by season. Think about how many times you survived situations you never could have fully prepared for. When those moments arrived, I gave you strength in real time. I guided you through confusion you thought would drown you. I opened doors when you believed everything was falling apart. You are still here because my hand remained on your life even when your understanding was limited. Stop delaying your growth while waiting for complete certainty. Open your heart to me instead. Ask me for wisdom, not total control. Ask me for courage to move forward even when some details remain hidden. I will guide you one step at a time, my child. You are not supposed to carry the entire road inside your mind before the journey even begins. Release the need to understand everything immediately. Let me teach you how to walk through uncertainty without losing your peace. The future ahead of you does not require perfect knowledge. It requires a willing heart that stays close enough to hear my voice when it is time to move. My child, the moments before major change often feel far more confusing than peaceful. That is something many people do not understand. You expected clarity to arrive like bright sunlight breaking through dark clouds, but instead, you found yourself standing in emotional tension, questioning everything around you. One day you feel hopeful about the future. The next day uncertainty presses heavily against your thoughts again. This inner instability has frustrated you because you assumed transformation would feel cleaner and easier than this. But listen carefully to me now. The stretching you feel inside your spirit is not proof that something is wrong. It is often evidence that something is shifting beneath the surface. Right before new seasons begin, old patterns start losing their hold on you. Familiar routines no longer comfort you the same way. Conversations that once distracted you begin feeling shallow. Even your priorities slowly rearrange themselves without you fully understanding why. I know this stage feels uncomfortable. You are standing between who you used to be and who you are becoming, and that space can feel lonely sometimes. Part of your spirit senses that change is near, yet your circumstances may still look mostly the same externally. That contrast creates tension inside your heart. You wonder whether you are imagining things. You question whether your restlessness has any real meaning. But my child, do not dismiss what your spirit has been sensing quietly for months now. Come sit with me honestly and stop demanding instant clarity from yourself. Growth is rarely dramatic while it is happening. Most transformation unfolds slowly, like dawn arriving before sunrise fully appears. You do not need to panic just because everything feels unfamiliar emotionally. Some confusion appears when old identities begin falling away. You are shedding parts of yourself that no longer belong in your future, and that process naturally feels uncomfortable at times. I want you to stop reaching backward every time transition begins. Stop trying to recreate old comfort simply because the unknown feels intimidating. The life ahead of you cannot fully arrive while you remain emotionally anchored to versions of yourself that have already outgrown their season. Trust the shift even before you fully understand it. Pay attention to what your soul has been craving lately. You desire deeper peace now, not shallow distractions. You want authenticity instead of appearances. You are becoming more sensitive to environments that drain your spirit. None of this is accidental. I have been preparing your heart carefully for what comes next. Stay close to me during this season of transition. Do not isolate yourself inside fear and overthinking. Invite me into your uncertainty instead. Let me steady your thoughts when emotions become overwhelming. What feels confusing now will make sense later, my child. The shift is already happening, even if you cannot fully see it yet. My child, one of the quietest pains you have carried lately is the feeling of becoming unfamiliar to your own old life. You started noticing it slowly. Certain conversations no longer satisfy your spirit the way they once did. Environments that used to feel exciting now leave you emotionally drained. Even the version of yourself that once fit naturally into those spaces has started fading. And because this change happened gradually, you sometimes question whether something is wrong with you. Come closer and listen to me carefully now. Nothing is wrong with you. You are growing, and growth often feels lonely before it feels beautiful. When your spirit begins changing deeply, you naturally stop connecting with things that once kept you comfortable. That shift can feel painful because part of you still remembers the safety of your old identity. You knew how to survive there. You knew how to fit in there. But your soul has been stretching beyond those old walls for a long time now. I know the loneliness has surprised you. You expected growth to feel empowering all the time, but instead there are moments when it feels like standing alone in a crowded room. Some people no longer understand your silence. Others feel uncomfortable with your boundaries because you're healing change the way you respond to certain behaviors. You are not as willing to abandon yourself for acceptance anymore, and that difference affects relationships more than you realize. Do not rush backwards simply because loneliness makes you uncomfortable. Sit with this season honestly instead of escaping it through distractions. I know part of you misses who you used to be because that version of you felt more connected socially. But remember this, my child. That older version of you is carrying pain quietly just to remain accepted in places that no longer fit your spirit. You are not losing yourself. You are discovering yourself beneath layers of survival, fear, and emotional compromise. Growth requires separation sometimes. A seed buried underground must break apart before anything living rises from it. In the same way, parts of your old identity are falling away because they cannot carry the life I am preparing for you. Take a deep breath now and stop apologizing for changing. Stop forcing yourself to shrink emotionally just to preserve old dynamics that no longer bring peace into your life. Let yourself become unfamiliar to the people who only love the version of you that stayed silent, overextended, or emotionally available at the cost of your own well-being. Stay near me during this transition. Bring me your loneliness instead of hiding it behind false strength. I am not leading you into isolation forever. I am guiding you toward deeper alignment, healthier connections, and a stronger sense of who you truly are. Trust this process even when it feels uncomfortable. The loneliness will not last forever, but the growth happening inside you right now will shape the rest of your life. My child, while you are outgrowing old versions of yourself, I am also calling you into deeper partnership with the work I am doing through this message. There are lonely hearts searching for confirmation that their growth is not failure, and every act of support helps this word reach those standing in silent battles tonight. Your giving through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description is like pouring fresh oil into a lamp that refuses to go dark in this generation. I declared long ago that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed, and I am still faithful to that promise now. Some people wait for certainty before they obey me, but blessed are those who move when their spirit recognizes my voice. This is a prophetic moment, not a casual interruption. What you release in faith today can become the very thing that keeps another person from returning to despair, compromise, or hopelessness. Do not resist the prompting resting on your heart right now. Sow into this mission immediately, and let your obedience echo far beyond what your eyes can currently see. My child, there is a reason your heart keeps reaching towards something beyond the life you currently see. Even when you try to ignore it, the feeling returns quietly. You sense it during ordinary moments when your thoughts drift somewhere deeper. You feel it when certain dreams refuse to disappear no matter how practical you try to become. Part of you keeps longing for a life that feels more meaningful, more alive, more connected to purpose. And sometimes that longing confuses you because you cannot fully explain where it comes from. Listen to me carefully now. I planted that desire inside you intentionally. Your spirit recognizes that you were created for more than simply surviving each day without direction. There are gifts, callings, relationships, and experiences attached to your future that your heart has already started sensing before your eyes can fully see them. That inner pull is not foolishness. It is not selfish ambition. It is your soul responding to the life I prepared for you long before you understood it yourself. You have spent years trying to be realistic about your limitations. You lowered expectations after disappointments wounded you. You convinced yourself not to hope too deeply because past heartbreak taught you how painful unmet desires can become. Yet despite all of that, something inside you still whispers that your story is not finished. That quiet voice keeps calling you forward, even after difficult seasons tried convincing you to settle permanently for less. I want you to stop dismissing those deeper desires simply because they feel intimidating. Stop shrinking your dreams until they fit comfortably inside your fears. Come sit with me honestly and pay attention to what your spirit keeps returning to repeatedly. There are longings inside you connected to purpose, not fantasy. You would not feel this persistent pull toward growth, healing, creativity, peace, or impact if I had not already written those possibilities into your future. It does not mean the road ahead will always feel easy. Bigger callings often require deeper surrender. You cannot carry your future properly while clinging tightly to every familiar comfort from your past. That is why this season feels so transitional emotionally. Your spirit is stretching toward what is ahead while part of your heart still fears leaving behind what feels safe. Do not allow fear to silence the vision growing quietly inside you. Feed your spirit with trust instead of constant doubt. Open your heart wider and let yourself believe that your life still carries purpose beyond what you have already experienced. You are not too late, too damaged, or too ordinary for the plans I have placed over your future. Take my hand now and stop speaking to yourself like your best days already passed. Lift your eyes beyond your current limitations. There is more waiting for you than you can presently imagine, and your spirit keeps sensing it because I have already started calling you toward it. My child, I know how deeply the waiting has affected your heart. There were seasons when you kept hoping things would finally become clear, only to wake up facing the same uncertainty again. You prayed for direction, signs, movement, relief, and yet so much remained unanswered for longer than you expected. At times, the silence felt heavier than the struggle itself. You could endure hardship more easily if you at least understood where your life was going, but the unknown kept stretching your spirit in ways that left you emotionally exhausted. I watched you sit alone with thoughts you could not explain to anyone else. You smiled through conversations while inwardly carrying questions that never seemed to settle. Some nights you stared at the ceiling, replaying every possibility in your mind, trying to predict what would happen next. Your heart wanted reassurance, but instead you felt suspended between hope and uncertainty. That place can feel incredibly lonely, my child, especially when you have been waiting far longer than you ever imagined you would. Come sit with me now and stop treating your waiting season like wasted time. I know you wanted quick answers because your heart was tired of carrying tension. But some truths can only grow slowly inside a person. Immediate clarity would not have produced the same depth, wisdom, and emotional maturity forming inside you now. Waiting has a way of revealing what truly lives inside the heart. It exposes fears, attachments, expectations, and hidden wounds that busy seasons often cover up. You kept asking me for answers while I was quietly shaping your spirit beneath the surface. I was teaching you how to remain grounded even when circumstances refused to cooperate with your plans. I was helping you separate your identity from outcomes you could not control. None of this felt comforting while you lived through it, but your waiting carried purpose beyond what you could see. Do not let delayed answers convince you that I abandoned you. Silence is not absence. There were moments when I protected your future simply by not allowing certain things to happen prematurely. Other times, I was preparing your heart for blessings that required a stronger version of you than the one standing there at the beginning of this journey. Breathe deeply now and stop punishing yourself for feeling weary. Waiting stretches even the strongest hearts. Bring your frustration honestly to me instead of hiding it behind fake patience. I can handle your questions. I can handle your tears. What I want is your trust in the middle of uncertainty, not perfection. Stay close to me during this season. Do not rush ahead trying to force clarity before it's time. You are not forgotten in the waiting, my child. Even now, things are moving quietly beyond your sight. Answers are forming. Doors are shifting. Your life is not standing still nearly as much as you think it is. My child, the way you trusted me in the past cannot fully carry you into the season ahead. That is why your faith has been changing lately. Before, you trusted me mostly when life felt manageable, when answers arrived quickly, or when circumstances gave you enough reassurance to feel secure. But now you are walking through situations where control keeps slipping from your hands, and it has forced you into deeper dependence than you ever expected. I know this process has unsettled you emotionally. There were moments when you begged me to remove the uncertainty completely. You wanted clear direction, guaranteed outcomes, and immediate relief from the pressure building inside your thoughts. Instead, I kept asking you to stay close to me one day at a time. That frustrated part of you because you wanted resolution while I was teaching surrender. Come closer now and listen carefully. Trust is not built through comfort alone. Some of the deepest faith grows inside seasons where you must keep walking without seeing the full picture ahead. I understand how difficult that feels for you. Your mind naturally searches for stability. Your heart wants reassurance before taking risks emotionally or spiritually. Yet the life I am preparing for you requires a different kind of trust than the one you relied on before. You are learning how to remain steady even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. You are learning how to breathe through uncertainty without collapsing into panic every time something changes. You are learning how to bring your fears to me instead of letting them quietly control your decisions. This growth may not look impressive outwardly, but it is transforming your spirit from the inside. I want you to stop viewing dependence on me as weakness. The world praises self-sufficiency, but many people carry crushing pressure because they believe they must control everything alone. That is not the life I want for you. Lay down the exhausting need to predict every outcome. Release the belief that your safety depends entirely on your own ability to manage every detail perfectly. Sit with me honestly and notice how much stronger your spirit has become already. You survived uncertainty before. You endured heartbreak, disappointment, delays, and confusion without losing yourself completely. Even when your faith felt fragile, I remained beside you, holding together pieces of your life you could not carry alone. Take my hand again now and stop resisting the deeper trust I am building inside you. The future ahead will require peace that does not depend entirely on visible evidence. It will require confidence rooted in my presence, not temporary circumstances. You are learning that kind of trust now, my child, even through the uncomfortable seasons you once wished away. One day you will realize this process strengthened your heart more than immediate answers ever could. My child, there were moments when the silence around your life became so heavy that you started questioning whether I was still near you at all. You prayed and heard nothing back immediately. You searched for signs, direction, comfort, and clarity, yet many days felt painfully ordinary. The silence stretched longer than you expected, and slowly your heart began carrying a fear you rarely admitted aloud. You wondered whether heaven had moved on without you. You wondered whether your prayers were still reaching me after all this time. Come closer and let me speak gently into that fear now. I never forgot you for a single moment. Not during the nights when anxiety kept you awake. Not during the mornings when exhaustion followed you before the day even began. Not during the hidden moments when you smiled outwardly while carrying private pain inside your chest. I was there through all of it, even when my presence felt quiet to you. Silence can feel cruel when your heart desperately wants reassurance. I understand that. But my quietness was never abandonment. There were seasons when I needed you to grow roots deeper than emotion alone. If my voice constantly removed every discomfort immediately, your trust would depend too heavily on visible comfort instead of deeper connection. I wanted you to discover that I remain faithful even during moments when your circumstances refused to cooperate with your expectations. I know you replayed old prayers in your mind, wondering why certain answers seemed delayed. You watched other people celebrate breakthroughs while your own life still felt unresolved. Comparison made the silence feel even heavier sometimes. But my child, stop measuring my care for you by the speed of visible change. I was still protecting you during the waiting. I was still guiding details behind the scenes. Even closed doors carried my mercy in ways you could not yet recognize. Sit with me honestly for a moment and look back at your journey carefully. You survived seasons that should have broken your spirit completely. Somehow strength kept appearing exactly when you needed it most. Unexpected help arrived during critical moments. Certain disasters never fully reached you the way they could have. That was not luck. That was my hand remaining over your life quietly while you feared you had been abandoned. Do not allow silence to rewrite the truth about our relationship. My love for you was never dependent on how emotionally close you felt during difficult seasons. I remained present even when your faith felt fragile. I remained steady even when your thoughts became crowded with doubt. Stay close to me now instead of withdrawing emotionally because the answers took longer than you expected. Invite me back into the places where disappointment hardened your heart quietly. I have not forgotten your prayers, my child. I have not overlooked your tears. Even now, things are unfolding beyond your sight. The silence was never empty. It was carrying preparation, protection, and purpose the entire time. My child, just as I never abandoned you during the silence, I have not abandoned the countless souls still crying out quietly for hope tonight. I am using this message to remind people that heaven still sees them, still hears them, and still has purpose prepared for their lives. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you help carry my light into places where darkness has whispered for too long. Did I not say, your gift will return to you in full? I am able to multiply what leaves your hand and surround your life with provision, protection, and unexpected favor. Some of you have been waiting for a sign that your obedience matters, and this moment is part of that answer. The enemy wants hesitation to silence your generosity, but I am calling my people to move with urgency while hearts are open and ready to receive truth. Do not ignore this divine appointment. Give now, stand with this mission now, and help my voice reach the ones who still believe they have been forgotten. My child, when I tell you to pack your bags, I am speaking about more than changing locations or leaving familiar surroundings behind. The journey ahead of you begins much deeper than physical movement. Before your life shifts outwardly, your heart must become willing to release what no longer belongs inside your spirit. There are emotional burdens, old identities, fears, attachments, and patterns that cannot travel into the next season with you. If you keep carrying them, they will weigh down the future I am trying to place into your hands. I know how difficult letting go feels for you. Some of these emotional attachments have been with you for years. Certain fears became familiar companions after disappointment wounded your trust. Old pain shaped the way you protect yourself now. You learned how to survive through control, emotional walls, overthinking, and silent self-protection. Those habits helped you endure difficult seasons. But my child, they cannot build the life ahead of you. Survival strategies eventually become prisons when you refuse to outgrow them. Come sit with me honestly and open your heart fully now. Ask yourself what you have been carrying that no longer brings life into your spirit. Is it guilt from old mistakes? Is it bitterness toward people who hurt you? Is it fear of failure that keeps you emotionally frozen? Perhaps it is the constant pressure to prove your worth through performance and exhaustion. Whatever it is, stop dragging it forward as though it belongs to your identity forever. Packing your bags means preparing internally for transition. It means making room emotionally for the peace, healing, opportunities, and relationships I want to bring into your future. You cannot keep every old wound and still expect your spirit to feel light enough for new beginnings. Some things must be released gently before your next chapter fully arrives. I know part of you still clings tightly to familiar pain because at least it feels predictable. Healing can feel vulnerable. Trusting again can feel risky. Letting go of old identities may leave you wondering who you are becoming now. But listen carefully, my child. You are not losing yourself through this process. You are uncovering the person buried beneath years of survival, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion. Take a deep breath and begin unpacking your heart before you try stepping into what comes next. Release what no longer belongs there. Lay your fears before me instead of carrying them alone another year. Stop treating emotional baggage like permanent parts of your identity. I want freedom for your spirit, not just movement in your circumstances. The next season of your life requires lighter hands and a more open heart. So pack carefully, my child. Leave behind what drains your peace. Carry forward what strengthens your spirit. I am leading you somewhere your old burdens cannot follow. My child, there are certain things you keep carrying that cannot follow you into the life I am preparing for you. Some of these attachments are obvious to you, while others have quietly wrapped themselves around your identity so deeply that you barely notice them anymore. You learned how to live with certain fears, certain wounds, certain patterns of thinking until they started feeling normal. But normal does not always mean healthy, and familiar does not always mean necessary. I want you to sit with me honestly now and look carefully at what your spirit has been dragging through every season. You keep carrying guilt from mistakes I already forgave. You keep reopening old conversations in your mind, searching for different endings that no longer exist. You hold tightly to disappointments that shaped your fears about the future. Some of your attachments are emotional habits built during survival seasons. Others are relationships, expectations, or identities that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Come closer and stop defending what is quietly draining your peace. I know letting go feels painful because some of these attachments protected you emotionally when you were hurting. Fear taught you how to stay cautious. Control made you feel temporarily safe. Emotional distance kept certain wounds from reopening. But my child, those same walls are now preventing deeper healing, stronger trust, and healthier relationships from growing inside your life. You cannot carry bitterness into peace. You cannot carry constant self-doubt into confidence. You cannot carry old shame into the future I prepared for you. At some point, you must decide whether you want familiar pain or genuine freedom, because both cannot rule your heart at the same time. I know part of you fears who you will become without these attachments. Pain can shape identity more deeply than people realize. Some wounds stayed with you so long that healing almost feels unfamiliar now. But listen carefully to me. You are more than what hurt you. You are more than the heartbreak, rejection, anxiety, disappointment, or failure you survived. Stop introducing yourself to life through the language of your wounds. Open your hands slowly now. Release the pressure to carry everything alone. Lay those emotional burdens before me honestly instead of hiding them beneath constant busyness and distraction. Invite me into the places where fear still controls your reactions quietly. Healing begins when you stop protecting the very pain I am trying to remove from your life. The season ahead requires emotional room for peace, clarity, trust, and deeper joy. I do not want your future weighed down by things that belong to seasons already finished. Let me help you unpack your heart completely. Leave behind what no longer strengthens your spirit. You are not abandoning yourself through this process, my child. You are finally making space for the version of you that has been waiting beneath all the heaviness for far too long. My child, There is a reason certain dreams keep returning to your heart no matter how many times you try to silence them. You attempted to become practical. You told yourself to stop hoping so deeply because disappointment had already wounded you enough. You tried lowering your expectations so life would hurt less if things failed again. Yet despite all of that, certain desires continue rising quietly inside your spirit. They return during peaceful moments. They appear when your mind finally slows down long enough to listen honestly to your heart. Listen carefully to me now. Not every dream inside you was created by selfish ambition or fantasy. Some desires were planted there intentionally by me long before your fears started speaking louder than your faith. That longing you carry for deeper purpose, healthier love, meaningful work, peace, healing, or transformation did not appear by accident. Your spirit keeps returning to these dreams because part of you recognizes they are connected to who you were created to become. I know disappointment made you cautious. There were times when you prayed for certain things with your whole heart only to watch them fall apart painfully. That kind of heartbreak changes people. It teaches them to guard expectations carefully. You stopped trusting your desires because you became afraid of feeling devastated again. But my child, do not bury your heart completely just because previous seasons wounded it deeply. Come sit with me honestly and ask yourself why these dreams refuse to disappear entirely. Why does your spirit still ache for more despite everything you survived? Why do certain visions of your future still stir something emotional inside you after all this time? It is because your soul recognizes possibility even while your fear keeps arguing for limitation. I want you to stop speaking to yourself as though your life already reached its highest point. Stop acting as if your future is only meant to repeat the disappointments of your past. There are still chapters ahead of you that your current mind cannot fully imagine yet. There are still people you have not met, places you have not seen, healing you have not experienced, and peace you have not fully tasted. That does not mean every dream will unfold exactly the way you originally imagined. Sometimes I reshape desires before fulfilling them. Sometimes I lead you towards something deeper than what you first requested. But do not confuse delayed fulfillment with permanent denial. Your heart keeps returning to certain dreams because your spirit senses unfinished purpose attached to them. Take a deep breath now and stop punishing yourself for hoping again. Bring your dreams back into the light instead of hiding them beneath fear and cynicism. Talk to me honestly about them. Let your heart become soft enough to believe that beautiful things are still possible for your life. You are not foolish for still longing for more, my child. You are alive. And some dreams stay alive because heaven never intended for them to die. My child, one of the hardest things you will ever do is leave behind something familiar before you feel completely prepared for what comes next. You keep waiting for the perfect moment when fear disappears. Clarity becomes absolute, and your emotions finally settle into certainty. But many important transitions in life do not begin with complete confidence. They begin with quiet courage, choosing to move even while questions still remain. I know why you hesitate. You have already experienced loss before. You know what disappointment feels like. Part of you believes that staying where you are may hurt less than risking another painful outcome. Even if your current season drains your spirit, at least it feels predictable. At least you know how to survive there. The unknown asks something different from you. It asks you to trust me beyond what your eyes can currently see. Come closer and listen carefully now. You do not need to feel fully ready before obeying the direction I have been placing inside your heart. Some doors only open after you take the step you keep postponing. Waiting for fear to disappear completely will leave you standing still far longer than necessary. Courage is not the absence of fear, my child. Courage is choosing movement while fear still whispers beside you. You have outgrown certain environments emotionally and spiritually. but part of your heart still clings to them because they helped define your identity for so long. Walking away feels personal. It feels like grieving a version of your life that once carried meaning. I understand that pain. Do not shame yourself for feeling emotional about transition. Even necessary endings can hurt deeply. But I want you to stop confusing attachment with assignment. Just because something was once important does not mean it belongs in your future forever. Some relationships, habits, and environments serve their purpose during previous seasons, but they cannot carry you into what is ahead now. If you stay simply because leaving feels uncomfortable, you may spend years delaying the peace your spirit hath been craving. Take a deep breath and stop demanding guarantees before trusting me. I will not always reveal the full picture immediately. Sometimes the next step becomes visible only after you release your grip on the current season. Open your hands now. Let go gradually instead of resisting every emotional shift happening inside you. I know part of you worries about making mistakes. But hear me clearly, my child. Remaining emotionally trapped in places where your spirit can no longer grow is also a decision. And that decision carries consequences too. Do not allow fear to quietly build a permanent home around your future. Stand up now and begin moving toward what brings life back into your spirit. You are stronger than your fear keeps telling you. I have already been preparing you for this transition far longer than you realize. Trust me enough to take the next step, even if your hands still tremble while you do it. My child, as you prepare to walk away from what no longer carries your spirit forward, understand this also. The words you are hearing here are helping countless weary hearts find the courage to obey my voice again. Every seed sown through super thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in this video description becomes oil for the lamp that keeps this message burning across dark places. Did I not tell you? Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I'm still multiplying what is placed into my hands with faith. Some souls are standing on the edge of despair right now, waiting for one message filled with my presence to pull them back into hope. When you give, you become part of that rescue. I see every obedient seed, and I will breathe favor, provision, and protection over those who refuse to let this fire die. Do not ignore this divine prompting inside your spirit. Act now. Send your super thanks. Join this channel as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, and help carry my word where broken hearts are waiting. My child, you have spent so much of your life trying to survive that you almost forgot what it feels like to truly live with peace inside your spirit. For a long time, your days revolved around managing pressure, avoiding disappointment, recovering from emotional exhaustion, and holding yourself together through one difficult season after another. You became strong because you had to. You learned how to keep functioning while carrying burdens nobody fully understood. But somewhere along the way, survival became your normal state of existence. I watched you become emotionally cautious. You stopped expecting too much because disappointment taught you to protect your heart carefully. You learned how to lower your hopes, silence your deeper desires, and focus only on getting through the next day. Even moments of rest felt temporary because part of your mind stayed alert for the next problem waiting around the corner. That constant tension slowly exhausted your spirit more than you realized. Come sit with me honestly now and let your guard down for a moment. You were never created to spend your entire life trapped in survival mode. Survival may have carried you through painful seasons, but it cannot build the future I prepared for you. A heart constantly focused on avoiding pain struggles to fully receive joy, peace, intimacy, purpose, and rest. I know survival mode once protected you emotionally. It helped you endure betrayal, uncertainty, financial pressure, heartbreak, and fear. But what once protected you is now limiting your ability to trust, dream, and live freely. You keep preparing for disaster even during peaceful moments because your nervous system became accustomed to stress. Your body rests, but your spirit remains tense inside. I want you to stop treating peace like something temporary you cannot trust. Stop expecting every good moment to collapse immediately afterward. Not every season ahead of you will resemble the painful chapters behind you. Healing requires more than escaping hardship, my child. Healing also means learning how to receive safety without suspicion and rest without guilt. Bring your exhaustion honestly to me. Stop pretending you are stronger than you truly feel. I already know where your spirit feels fragile beneath the surface. Let me teach your heart how to breathe again without constant fear controlling every decision. Release the pressure to carry every responsibility alone, as though your survival depends entirely on your own strength. The season ahead of you is not about barely making it through life anymore. I am leading you toward stability, restoration, clarity, and deeper peace. But to receive that fully, you must stop living as though danger is always waiting to take everything from you. Open your heart slowly. Trust me enough to believe that your future can contain more than survival. You have endured enough, my child. And now let me show you what it feels like to truly live. My child, there are lessons inside your pain that comfort could never have taught you. I know there were seasons you begged to escape. You asked me to remove the pressure, stop the heartbreak, silence the uncertainty, and bring relief faster than it came. At the time, you could not understand why life felt so heavy for so long. Some nights left you emotionally exhausted. Some mornings required strength you did not even know you still possessed. Yet even in those difficult moments, something important was happening inside you quietly. Come sit with me now and look back honestly at who you used to be before those hard seasons changed you. You trusted people too quickly because you had not yet learned discernment. You ignored your own emotional exhaustion because you believed your worth depended on constantly giving more of yourself away. You depended heavily on circumstances staying stable before feeling secure internally. But pain has a way of exposing what strength alone cannot teach. I know suffering wounded parts of your heart deeply. I am not calling your pain beautiful, and I am not pretending those seasons were easy. Some experiences left scars you still carry emotionally. But my child, do not overlook what grew inside you while you survived them. You became wiser. You learned how to recognize unhealthy patterns sooner. You developed compassion for people carrying hidden struggles because now you understand what silent battles feel like personally. You also discovered something important about yourself. You are far stronger than fear once convinced you. There were moments when you believed you would completely fall apart, yet somehow you continued moving forward. That strength did not come from pretending everything was fine. It came from continuing one day at a time while your spirit learned deeper endurance. I want you to stop seeing yourself only through the lens of what hurt you. Yes, difficult seasons chained you, but they also revealed qualities inside you that easier years never would have uncovered. Your patience deepened. Your understanding matured. Even your prayers became more honest because pain stripped away performances and forced your heart into real conversations with me. Take a deep breath now and stop resenting every difficult chapter you survived. Some storms protected you from becoming shallow emotionally. Some heartbreaks redirected your path before greater damage could happen later. Some disappointments forced you closer to me in ways success never would have accomplished. Do not carry shame for the seasons that almost broke you. Instead, recognize how much courage it took to survive them. You are still here, my child. Your heart still hopes. Your spirit still longs for peace, growth, and purpose despite everything you endured. That matters more than you realize. Come closer now and let me remind you of this truth. Your hardest seasons did not destroy your future. They prepared your spirit for it in ways you will fully understand later. My child, I know there are chapters of your life you still revisit emotionally. Certain endings left questions inside your heart that never fully settled. You remember opportunities that disappeared, relationships that fell apart, plans that failed despite how deeply you wanted them to succeed. At the time, those losses felt devastating because you could not see beyond the immediate pain. You thought something precious had been permanently taken away from you. Come closer and listen carefully now. Some of the chapters you mourned most intensely were actually protecting your future in ways you could not recognize yet. I know that truth feels difficult to accept because pain naturally narrows your vision. When your heart breaks, you focus on what ended rather than what ending may have prevented later. But my child, not every closed chapter was meant to punish you. Some were acts of mercy that only make sense after enough time passes. You keep looking backward, wondering what your life would have become if certain doors had stayed open. Yet you are imagining those paths through the lens of hope instead of truth. You do not see the exhaustion those situations would have eventually created inside your spirit. You do not see the deeper wounds that could have formed if certain people remained close while your soul kept shrinking to maintain those connections. I saw all of it clearly, even when you could not. I want you to stop romanticizing every chapter that ended painfully. Some things look beautiful from a distance while quietly draining your peace behind the scenes. Some opportunities carried hidden burdens you were not prepared to carry long term. Some relationships survived only because you kept sacrificing your emotional well-being to preserve them. Sit with me honestly for a moment and notice how much you have changed since those doors closed. You are wiser now. You recognize warning signs more quickly. You value peace differently. You no longer chase certain things with the same desperation because your spirit matured through the loss. None of that growth would have happened if every old chapter remained open forever. Take a deep breath and release the belief that every ending ruined your future. Some endings redirected your life toward healing you desperately needed. Others created room for opportunities you could not have reached while clinging to old attachments. I know certain losses still ache sometimes, but do not confuse grief with failure. Open your heart now and trust me enough to believe that closed chapters can still carry hidden blessings. What felt like rejection may have been protection. What felt like delay may have preserved your peace. What felt like loss may have made room for deeper purpose ahead. Do not keep building emotional homes inside seasons that already ended. Lift your eyes forward again. Your story did not stop at those painful chapters, my child. I am still writing beautiful things into your future, even after everything you thought would destroy it. My child, there is a reason your old life no longer fits the way it once did. You have changed more deeply than you realize. The experiences you survived, the heartbreaks you endured, the prayers you whispered during lonely nights, and the healing that quietly began inside your spirit have all transformed you gradually over time. Even if your surroundings still look familiar, you are no longer the same person emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. I know part of you still feels tempted to return to older versions of yourself because they seem easier to carry. Sometimes you miss the simplicity of who you were before disappointment reshaped your understanding of life. You remember seasons when you trusted more quickly, hoped more freely, and felt less emotionally guarded. But my child, growth changes people. Once your spirit begins waking up, you cannot fully return to emotional spaces that once kept you small. Come sit with me honestly and stop fighting the evidence of your transformation. You notice things differently now. Certain conversations exhaust you because your soul craves depth instead of surface-level distraction. Certain environments feel uncomfortable because your spirit no longer belongs there internally. Even the way you love, trust, and protect your peace has changed through everything you endured. You might mistake this change for failure or loss. You are not broken because you outgrew older versions of yourself. You are becoming more aware of who you truly are beneath years of survival, fear, and emotional compromise. The life ahead of you requires wisdom your younger self did not yet possess. That wisdom came through painful lessons, difficult endings, and seasons where your heart learned discernment slowly. I know there are moments when growth feels isolating. Some people connected more easily with the version of you that constantly overextended yourself, ignored your own needs, or stayed emotionally silent to avoid conflict. But you cannot keep abandoning your spirit just to remain familiar to others. That version of you was exhausted, my child. That version carried burdens alone while pretending everything was fine. Stop trying to resurrect identities I have already helped you outgrow. Release the pressure to become who you used to be simply because transition feels uncomfortable right now. The old version of you survived difficult seasons, but the new version of you is learning how to live with greater peace, honesty, and emotional freedom. Take a deep breath now and let yourself move forward fully. Do not cling emotionally to old chapters simply because they feel recognizable. You have already crossed too many internal battles to return unchanged. Trust the person you are becoming instead of mourning who you used to be. I am not asking you to forget your past. I am asking you to stop living inside it. Your future requires the healed, wiser, stronger version of you now emerging from these difficult seasons. Let that person rise fully, my child. Do not hold yourself back any longer. My child, you cannot return to who you used to be because I am calling you into greater purpose, and part of that purpose is helping my voice reach others still trapped in the darkness you survived. This message is not appearing by accident. I am using it like rivers in dry land, carrying healing into exhausted souls across the world. Every super thanks, every membership, and every gift through the PayPal link in the description becomes a seed planted into eternal harvest. As it is written, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and I am watching over every sacrifice made with love and obedience. There are people crying out to me tonight who will encounter my presence through the support you release today. Do not underestimate the weight of your generosity in my kingdom. I will cause what you pour out to return multiplied, overflowing with peace, favor, and unexpected provision. Step into alignment now. Give your super thanks. Become a member, or sow through PayPal in the description, and help my light reach the next soul before it is too late. My child, you have been carrying burdens in silence for far too long. Some of the weight sitting on your heart was never meant for your shoulders in the first place. Yet somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that strength meant handling everything alone. You became the dependable one, the responsible one, the one who kept moving even while emotionally exhausted. You learned how to comfort others while quietly neglecting your own pain. I watched you push yourself beyond healthy limits, trying to hold every part of your life together. You carried responsibilities, emotional wounds, financial stress, fear about the future, and unspoken grief all at once. Even during moments when your spirit desperately needed rest, your mind kept searching for problems to solve because you believed everything depended entirely on you staying strong. Come closer now and release that pressure for a moment. You were never designed to carry life alone without support, peace, or rest. Some of the anxiety consuming your thoughts comes from trying to control outcomes that only I can truly hold together. You keep exhausting yourself searching for certainty in situations beyond your control. That constant emotional tension is draining your spirit more deeply than you admit to anyone else. I know why you struggle to let go. Trusting others became difficult after disappointment wounded you. Depending on people felt risky because some of them failed you when you needed support most. So you adapted by becoming emotionally self-reliant. You stopped asking for help. You buried your needs beneath busyness and responsibility. But my child, independence can quietly become isolation when fear teaches you that vulnerability is dangerous. Sit with me honestly now and acknowledge how tired your soul has become. Stop pretending you are fine when your spirit feels overwhelmed internally. I do not expect you to carry every burden perfectly without ever needing comfort, wisdom, or support. Bring your fears to me. Bring your exhaustion to me. Bring the thoughts you keep hiding from everyone else. You cannot heal while constantly operating under pressure that never gives your heart room to breathe. Lay those burdens down slowly instead of gripping them tighter every day. Some things are not yours to solve immediately. Some battles are not yours to fight alone. Stop carrying tomorrow before it even arrives. I want you to learn what it feels like to rest emotionally in my presence instead of surviving entirely through your own strength. You do not need to earn peace through exhaustion. You do not need to prove your worth by carrying impossible amounts of pressure silently. Let me hold what has been crushing your spirit. Release the need to control every outcome perfectly. Your life does not depend on endless striving, my child. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to trust that I can carry what has become too heavy for you alone. My child, there will come a moment when you look back over your life and suddenly realize that I was guiding you even during the seasons that felt confusing, painful, and uncertain. Right now, some parts of your journey still appear scattered in your mind. Certain delays still feel frustrating. Certain losses still carry unanswered questions. But one day the pieces will connect in ways that completely change how you understand your story. I know there were times when you believed you were wandering without direction. You thought you were making decisions alone while trying desperately to avoid more disappointment. Yet even during those moments, my hand remained close to you. I redirected paths you never needed to walk down fully. I protected you from certain people whose presence would have slowly damaged your spirit. I closed doors that looked promising from your perspective because I could already see the hidden cost attached to them. Come sit with me quietly now and think honestly about your life. There were situations you once cried over that now make sense differently. There were endings you resisted that eventually revealed hidden mercy. Even your painful seasons carried lessons that shaped your discernment, your compassion, and your strength. None of that happened randomly, my child. I was working beneath the surface even when you misunderstood what was unfolding around you. I know you questioned me during difficult seasons. You wondered why certain prayers seemed unanswered while other people moved ahead more quickly. But your journey was never abandoned to chaos. Every delay, every redirection, every unexpected pause carried purpose beyond what your limited perspective could fully see at the time. I was guiding your life with wisdom far greater than immediate comfort. Do not overlook the quiet ways I already carried you through impossible moments. There were nights when peace appeared unexpectedly despite your anxiety. There were conversations that shifted your direction at exactly the right time. There were moments when your spirit sensed not to move forward even though your emotions desperately wanted to. That was me guiding you gently through situations your eyes could not fully interpret yet. I want you to stop viewing your life only through the lens of what hurt you. Lift your eyes higher now. Notice how many times protection disguised itself as disappointment. Notice how many closed doors eventually became reasons for gratitude later. Notice how much wiser, stronger, and more grounded your spirit has become through the very seasons you once begged me to remove. Trust me more deeply now, my child. If I carried you through the parts you already survive, I will continue guiding you through what still lies ahead. Stop fearing that your future rests entirely on your own understanding. You are not navigating this journey alone. You never were. Come closer and let your heart rest in that truth tonight. Even when you could not see me clearly, I was already walking beside you the entire time. My child, one of the hardest things for you to accept is that I often begin moving long before visible evidence appears in your life. You want reassurance you can touch immediately. You want clear signs, immediate breakthroughs, obvious answers, and certainty that everything is finally changing. But much of what I do begins quietly beneath the surface before circumstances catch up to what is already unfolding spiritually. I know waiting without visible proof stretches your faith deeply. There were seasons when you prayed faithfully yet saw no immediate results. Your surroundings looked unchanged. Your routines remained the same. Even your emotions continued wrestling with uncertainty. Part of you started wondering whether anything was truly happening at all. But my child, just because your eyes cannot yet see movement does not mean heaven is standing still. Come closer now and listen carefully. Seeds grow underground long before fruit becomes visible above the surface. In the same way, many answers begin forming long before you recognize them externally. I have already started shifting things on your behalf in ways you cannot fully measure yet. Conversations are unfolding. Opportunities are aligning. Hearts are changing. Doors are preparing to open at the proper time. Your current vision simply cannot see every detail yet. You keep wanting evidence before trusting me fully, but deeper faith often develops in hidden seasons where external proof remains limited for a while. I know that feels uncomfortable. Your human heart naturally wants visible reassurance. Yet some of the most important movements in your life happen silently before public change ever appears. I want you to stop interpreting delay as inactivity. Stop assuming nothing is happening simply because your timeline feels slower than expected. You are judging your future based on incomplete vision, while I already see the finished picture clearly. Trust me enough to believe that unseen preparation still matters even before outward results appear. Think about how many times answers arrived after long periods where everything seemed stagnant. Suddenly doors opened that previously remained locked. Unexpected opportunities appeared. Clarity arrived at exactly the right moment. Those breakthroughs did not begin the day you finally noticed them. They were already developing quietly long beforehand. Take a deep breath now and release the need to monitor every detail anxiously. Let me work beyond your sight without demanding constant proof that I am moving. Faith grows stronger when trust remains steady even during hidden seasons. You do not need to see the entire process to know I am still involved in your life. Stay close to me while the unseen work continues. Do not become discouraged simply because visible evidence has not fully arrived yet. Heaven often moves quietly before earthly circumstances begin reflecting what has already been set into motion. Your breakthrough may already be closer than your current vision allows you to recognize. My child, the reason your old life feels smaller now is because your spirit has grown beyond the limits that once contained it. You have changed quietly through every season you survived. The pain you endured reshaped your perspective. The prayers you whispered during lonely nights deepened your understanding. Even the disappointments that once nearly broke you ended up stretching your soul in ways comfort never could. Because of that growth, certain parts of your old life no longer feel large enough to hold who you are becoming. I know this change confuses you sometimes. You look around at things that once mattered deeply and wonder why they no longer satisfy your heart the same way. Certain conversations feel empty now. Certain goals no longer excite you the way they once did. Even places that used to comfort you feel emotionally distant. At times you question whether you are becoming too sensitive, too detached, or too difficult to please. But my child, what you are feeling is not emptiness without purpose. It is expansion happening inside your spirit. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and stop trying to force yourself back into old emotional spaces that no longer fit your growth. You cannot return comfortably to mindsets, relationships, and environments that your soul has already outgrown. Your spirit now craves deeper peace, greater honesty, healthier connection, and more meaningful purpose than before. A shift naturally changes what feels fulfilling to you. I want you to stop apologizing for evolving. Some people will misunderstand your growth because they only knew the version of you that stayed emotionally small enough to fit comfortably inside old patterns. But I did not create you to remain trapped inside limited versions of yourself forever. There is more wisdom inside you now, more discernment, more awareness of what drains your peace and what truly nourishes your spirit. Do not confuse familiarity with destiny. Just because something once mattered deeply does not mean it still belongs in your future. Some chapters were designed to carry you temporarily while I prepared you for larger things ahead. Staying there forever would only shrink your spirit over time. Take a deep breath now and allow yourself to acknowledge what your heart already knows. You are changing because I am leading you somewhere different. Your old life feels smaller because your soul can no longer pretend shallow peace is enough. You have seen too much, survived too much, and grown too deeply to return unchanged. Lift your eyes forward now instead of mourning the discomfort of outgrowing old spaces. Do not fear this transition. It is not punishment. It is preparation. I am widening your vision so you can step into a life that reflects the deeper work already happening inside you. Trust what your spirit is telling you, my child. The discomfort is not there to destroy you. It is there to guide you toward something greater. My child, your old life feels smaller because I am expanding your spirit for something greater, and part of that greater calling is helping spread my living word to hearts starving for truth. This channel is becoming a river of encouragement for people drowning silently in fear, grief, and exhaustion. Every offering through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description becomes fuel for this mission to continue reaching nations, homes, and hidden battles no one else sees. Remember when I said, your gift will make room for you. I still open doors through obedience and generosity. The enemy wants many voices of hope to go silent, but those who give become guardians of the fire I am raising in this generation. I see every faithful hand that chooses to sow into my work instead of holding back in fear. I will bless your house with peace, strengthen what concerns you, and multiply the seeds you release with faith. Do not delay this moment. Send your super thanks now, become a member, or so through the PayPal link below and help carry this message farther than you can currently imagine. My child, there is a version of you emerging through this season that you have not fully met yet. Right now, you mostly see the struggle, the uncertainty, and the emotional stretching that comes with change. You notice the confusion, the waiting, the discomfort of leaving behind familiar versions of yourself. But beneath all of that, something powerful is happening quietly. I'm shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, calmer, and more grounded than you realize. I know you still focus heavily on your weaknesses. You remember your failures quickly. You replay old mistakes and question whether you are truly capable of carrying the future ahead of you. Some days you feel emotionally scattered and wonder if growth is even happening at all. But my child, transformation rarely feels dramatic while you are living through it. Most growth happens slowly, beneath the surface, while your spirit adjusts to lessons your heart once resisted. Come closer now, and stop measuring yourself only by what still feels unfinished. Look honestly at how much has already changed inside you. Situations that once completely destroyed your peace no longer control you the same way. You recognize unhealthy patterns more clearly now. Your discernment has sharpened. Your heart seeks deeper meaning instead of temporary distraction. Even your relationship with me has become more honest because pain stripped away performances and forced your spirit into real dependence. The person I am preparing you to become cannot be built through comfort alone. That is why some seasons stretched you emotionally. That is why certain delays forced patience into your spirit. That is why painful endings taught you how to stop attaching your identity to things that could never fully sustain your soul. Every difficult season carried preparation hidden inside it. I want you to stop speaking to yourself like your growth is insignificant simply because it happened quietly. Healing often unfolds gradually. Wisdom develops slowly. Emotional maturity forms through repeated moments where you choose peace, honesty, surrender, and trust instead of old survival patterns. Do not overlook the strength already forming inside you. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to imagine who you could become if fear stopped controlling your decisions. Imagine the peace that could fill your spirit if you finally released constant pressure to prove yourself worthy. Imagine the freedom waiting for you beyond old wounds, old shame, and old emotional limitations. That future version of you is not imaginary, my child. I am already shaping that person through every season you are walking through right now. Trust the process even when it feels uncomfortable. You do not need to fully recognize yourself yet for transformation to be real. Stay close to me during this becoming season. Do not run backward toward old identities simply because growth feels unfamiliar. The person waiting ahead of you carries deeper peace, stronger faith, clearer purpose, and greater emotional freedom than the version of you standing here today. My child, there is a reason you keep sensing urgency deep inside your spirit lately. Even during ordinary moments, something within you quietly whispers that you cannot remain where you are forever. You try distracting yourself sometimes. You tell yourself maybe you are overthinking, maybe you simply need rest. Maybe life will feel different eventually if you just wait long enough. But the feeling continues returning because your soul recognizes that a season of movement is approaching. I know part of you feels nervous about this. Change always awakens questions inside the heart. You wonder what exactly is shifting. You wonder what you may need to leave behind. You wonder whether you are truly prepared for the next chapter I have been preparing quietly around you. Yet despite the uncertainty, there is also something else happening inside you. Beneath the fear, there is anticipation. Beneath the exhaustion, there is awakening. Your spirit has started recognizing that you cannot keep shrinking yourself to fit inside old seasons forever. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and stop ignoring what your heart already knows. You keep hearing it's time because I have been stirring your spirit toward transition. It is time to release emotional baggage that has weighed you down for years. It is time to stop returning to relationships, habits, and mindsets that drain your peace. It is time to stop delaying decisions you already know need to be made. Your soul has carried this awareness quietly for longer than you realize. I know you keep waiting for the perfect moment when fear disappears completely before moving forward. But many important moments begin while uncertainty still exists. If you wait until every emotion feels calm and every answer becomes visible, you may remain stuck far longer than necessary. Growth often begins with a willing heart choosing obedience before comfort fully arrives. Pay attention now to what your spirit has been resisting. There are places where you already know change is necessary. There are conversations you need to have honestly. There are boundaries you need to establish. There are dreams you need to stop burying beneath fear and practicality. I am not trying to rush you recklessly, my child. I am calling you into alignment with the deeper work already happening inside your soul. Take a deep breath and stop dismissing your inner stirring as meaningless emotion. Your spirit recognizes timing before your circumstances fully reveal it externally. Trust what I have been whispering quietly into your heart. Do not keep delaying your own healing, growth, and peace simply because the unknown feels intimidating. Stand up now emotionally. Open your hands. Release the excuses that keep postponing change. You are hearing it's time because part of your life is already preparing to move forward, and your soul knows it before your eyes can fully see it yet. My child, there are blessings waiting for you that cannot fully enter your life until you finally trust me enough to move forward in obedience. I know obedience feels difficult sometimes because it often requires releasing what feels comfortable before you can see what comes next clearly. Your heart wants guarantees. Your mind wants visible proof that every sacrifice will eventually make sense. But many of the most meaningful things I place into your life begin with trust before understanding arrives. I know how much you have wrestled internally. Part of you senses that I am leading you toward deeper peace, healing, and purpose. Yet another part still clings tightly to familiar routines, relationships, and fears because they feel safer than uncertainty. You keep trying to hold both your old season and your future at the same time, but my child, some doors only open after you finally release your grip on what no longer belongs in your hands. Come closer now and listen carefully. Obedience is not about punishment or control. It is about alignment. It is about trusting that I see beyond your current perspective. There are opportunities ahead of you that require emotional freedom from your past. There are relationships waiting that will not thrive while you remain emotionally trapped inside old wounds. There is peace available to you, but you cannot receive it fully while constantly returning to patterns that keep your spirit exhausted. I know obedience can feel costly at first. Sometimes it asks you to walk away from situations that once felt important. Sometimes it asks you to confront fears you avoided for years. Sometimes it asks you to trust my voice over the opinions of people who cannot see what I am doing inside your life. But do not confuse temporary discomfort with permanent loss. Some things must be released so greater things can finally arrive. Take a moment now and ask yourself honestly what your spirit already knows needs to change. Stop running from that answer. Stop negotiating endlessly with the very areas where I have been calling you toward freedom. You already feel the tension inside your heart whenever you ignore what I have been showing you quietly. I am not asking you for perfection before blessing arrives. I am asking for willingness. I am asking you to trust me enough to take the next step even while uncertainty still exists around you. Obedience opens doors fear keeps trying to lock permanently. Breathe deeply now, and let your heart soften toward my direction again. The future ahead of you carries more peace than the life you are struggling to hold on to right now. There are blessings waiting beyond your obedience that your current mind cannot fully imagine yet. Stop standing at the doorway afraid to move. Take my hand and walk forward with me. I would never lead you away from one season without already preparing something greater ahead. My child, every time you ignore the quiet direction I place inside your spirit, something within you becomes heavier. You may still continue moving through daily life outwardly, but inwardly your peace slowly begins fading. That is because your soul was never designed to thrive while constantly resisting what it already knows is necessary. You can distract yourself for a while. You can stay busy. You can convince yourself that avoiding change is easier than facing uncertainty. But eventually the emotional cost of remaining stuck becomes impossible to ignore. I know why you hesitate. Sometimes my direction asks you to leave behind situations that still feel emotionally attached to your identity. Other times it requires uncomfortable honesty about relationships, habits, environments, or fears you spent years learning how to tolerate. You keep hoping discomfort will disappear on its own so you never have to make difficult decisions. Yet deep inside, your spirit already recognizes when a season has ended. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending your exhaustion is only physical. Part of your weariness comes from the tension created When your heart keeps pulling toward one direction while your fear keeps dragging you backward. That inner conflict drains more energy from your spirit than you realize. You were never meant to spend years negotiating with the same calling, the same healing, or the same necessary changes. I am not trying to take joy away from your life, my child. I am trying to protect your peace before emotional stagnation hardens your spirit completely. Ignoring my direction may feel safer temporarily, but eventually it creates frustration, numbness, resentment, and quiet hopelessness inside your heart. You start feeling disconnected from yourself because your soul recognizes you are no longer living in alignment with what you know deep down. Pay attention to the heaviness you feel after repeatedly choosing what drains you. Notice how certain environments leave your spirit restless no matter how much you try to adjust. That discomfort is not there to torment you. It is there to wake you up before you waste more years emotionally trapped inside places you already outgrew. Take a deep breath now and stop delaying the conversations, boundaries, or decisions your spirit has been whispering about for months. I know change feels intimidating. I know uncertainty scares you. But ignoring truth does not create peace. It only postpones growth while increasing emotional exhaustion. Bring your resistance honestly to me instead of hiding it behind excuses. Let me strengthen your heart where fear still controls you quietly. You do not need to move recklessly, but you do need to stop pretending your spirit feels alive where peace has already disappeared. The future ahead of you requires honesty, surrender, and movement. Do not keep sacrificing your emotional well-being just to preserve temporary comfort. Trust my direction enough to believe that obedience may feel uncomfortable at first, but staying stuck will cost your spirit far more in the end. My child, just as ignoring my direction creates heaviness inside your spirit, obedience unlocks movement, peace, and breakthrough beyond what you can currently see. That is why I am stirring many hearts right now to support the spreading of these messages before more wounded souls lose hope completely. Every super thanks, every membership, and every gift through the PayPal link in the description becomes like fresh oil poured into a burning lamp that refuses to go out in dark times. Have I not declared that whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed? I am still honoring those who willingly strengthen my work on the earth. Some of you have felt the pull to help for several videos now, yet fear or hesitation keeps delaying your response. Do not silence the prompting I placed inside you. I will cover obedient givers with favor, protect what belongs to them, and open unexpected doors in seasons of uncertainty. Move now with faith, give your super thanks, join as a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, and become part of the harvest I am preparing. My child, I know there are moments when your breakthrough feels impossibly far away. You look at your current circumstances and wonder whether anything is truly changing at all. Some days the distance between where you are and where you long to be feels overwhelming. You pray, wait, try again, and still wake up facing uncertainty that has lasted longer than you expected. Because of that, discouragement quietly tries to convince you that nothing meaningful is happening. Come closer now and listen carefully to me. You are much closer than you realize. The problem is not that nothing is moving. The problem is that you are measuring progress only by what your eyes can immediately see. Many important changes begin internally before they appear externally. Your spirit has already started shifting. Your perspective has changed. Your discernment has deepened. The version of you standing here today is already far different from the person who first entered this difficult season. I know you sometimes focus so heavily on what remains unfinished that you overlook how much healing has already happened quietly inside you. There were behaviors you once tolerated that now disturb your spirit. There were fears that used to control your decisions completely that no longer hold the same power over you. Even the way you pray has changed because your relationship with me has become more honest and dependent through these difficult seasons. Do not underestimate what is happening beneath the surface right now. Seeds grow silently before harvest appears publicly. In the same way, your future is developing in places you cannot fully observe yet. Doors are shifting. Opportunities are aligning. Your heart is strengthening for what comes next. None of this is accidental, my child. I want you to stop speaking to yourself like your life is permanently stuck. Stop allowing temporary discouragement to rewrite the truth about your future. Just because the process feels slow does not mean you are forgotten. Some of the most meaningful breakthroughs arrive after seasons where growth seemed invisible for a long time. Take a deep breath now and release the urge to quit emotionally simply because you cannot see immediate evidence. Stay close to me through this final stretch instead of retreating into hopelessness. Your weariness has made the journey feel longer than it truly is. Look back honestly for a moment. There were times you believed you would never survive emotionally, yet here you are still standing. There were prayers you thought would never be answered that eventually unfolded in unexpected ways. Remember that when doubt starts speaking loudly again, you are not as far away from peace, healing, clarity, and change as fear keeps telling you. Keep walking with me. Keep trusting me. Keep opening your heart even when uncertainty remains. The breakthrough your spirit has been longing for may already be unfolding far closer than your current emotions can recognize. My child, there comes a moment in every healing journey when fear finally begins losing its control over your life. It does not happen all at once. It is not loud or dramatic. Most of the time, it begins quietly inside your spirit when you grow tired of allowing anxiety to make every important decision for you. After years of overthinking, avoiding risk, preparing for disappointment, and protecting yourself from possible pain, something inside you slowly starts realizing that fear has stolen enough from your life already. I know fear once felt necessary to you. Certain experiences taught you to stay guarded. Heartbreak taught you caution. Rejection taught you to expect disappointment before hope. Failure made you question your own abilities. Over time, fear disguised itself as wisdom because it convinced you that staying emotionally safe was the same thing as staying protected. But my child, constantly avoiding pain is not the same as truly living. Come sit with me honestly now and pay attention to how fear has shaped your decisions. Think about the opportunities you avoided because you doubted yourself. Think about the conversations you postponed because vulnerability felt too risky. Think about how often you settled for less than peace because uncertainty frightened you more than emotional exhaustion. Fear has been quietly shrinking your world for longer than you realize. I do not want you to spend the rest of your life building walls around your future simply because past seasons wounded you deeply. There is a difference between discernment and fear. Discernment protects your spirit wisely. Fear keeps your spirit trapped. One brings peace. The other slowly drains life from your heart while pretending it is keeping you safe. Take a deep breath now and stop waiting for fear to disappear completely before moving forward. Courage grows while you walk beside uncertainty, not before it. The breakthrough moment arrives when your desire for peace becomes stronger than your attachment to emotional safety. That is when your spirit finally begins opening again. I know this process feels vulnerable. You are learning how to trust again after disappointment reshaped your heart. You are learning how to dream without immediately expecting failure. You are learning how to hear my voice louder than the panic inside your thoughts. That kind of healing takes time, my child. Be patient with yourself while your spirit relearns freedom. Come closer to me now and let me steady your heart. Stop feeding fear with constant worst-case scenarios. Stop assuming every new beginning will end like previous painful chapters. Your future is not automatically doomed to repeat your past. You are stronger now, wiser now, more grounded now. Fear no longer deserves the authority to control your decisions permanently. Let your heart breathe again. Step forward gently. Trust me enough to believe that peace is possible beyond the walls you built to survive old pain. My child, after everything you have walked through, your life cannot remain the same. Too much has shifted inside your spirit for you to return comfortably to who you used to be. The prayers, the waiting, the heartbreak, the healing, the loneliness, and the quiet moments where you almost gave up have all changed you deeply. Even if your surroundings still appear familiar, your heart has already started preparing for a completely different future. I know change still feels unsettling sometimes. Part of you misses the simplicity of old routines because they once gave you a sense of stability. Yet another part of you recognizes that remaining the same would slowly destroy your peace now. You cannot unknow what your spirit has learned through these difficult seasons. You cannot return to emotional blindness after your eyes have opened to deeper truth. Come sit with me honestly and acknowledge how much you have already grown. You no longer tolerate certain things the way you once did. Your spirit notices what drains you more quickly now. You crave honesty, peace, depth, healing, and alignment in ways that did not matter to you before. That change is not accidental, my child. I have been preparing your heart for a life that reflects greater emotional freedom and spiritual maturity. Do not fear the transformation happening inside you. I know some relationships may feel different now. Some goals may no longer satisfy you. Certain environments may feel uncomfortable because your soul no longer belongs there the same way. But that discomfort is not proof you are lost. It is evidence that your spirit refuses to settle for shallow survival anymore. I want you to stop grieving every old version of yourself that no longer fits your future. Some identities were built around pain, fear, people-pleasing, emotional exhaustion, and survival. Those versions of you carried burdens I never intended you to carry forever. Let them go gently now. Do not keep resurrecting old patterns simply because growth feels unfamiliar. Take a deep breath and stop doubting whether this transformation is real. It is already happening. Even your thinking has changed. You pause differently now. You pray differently now. You protect your peace differently now. The life ahead of you requires this growth because your future cannot be built on the same emotional foundations that once kept you stuck. Stay close to me during this transition. Do not rush backward toward old comfort simply because the unknown feels intimidating. What is ahead of you carries more peace than what you are leaving behind. Trust the work I am doing inside your spirit even when it stretches you emotionally. Your life cannot stay the same after this season because you are not the same person anymore, my child. And that change is preparing you for blessings, healing, and purpose greater than you currently realize. My child, the journey ahead of you will change far more than your circumstances. It will change the way you see yourself, the way you trust me, the way you carry peace, and the way you move through life altogether. Right now, you are standing at the edge of a season that your spirit has been preparing for quietly over a long period of time. Even if your emotions still feel uncertain, deep inside you already know something significant is shifting. You can feel it in the way old environments no longer satisfy you. You can feel it in the way your heart keeps longing for deeper peace, deeper purpose, and a different kind of life than the one you settled into before. I know there are still moments when fear speaks loudly inside your thoughts. Part of you wonders whether you are truly ready for what comes next. You think about what you may lose. You think about how uncomfortable change can become. But come closer to me now and listen carefully. The life ahead of you is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to awaken parts of your spirit that have been buried beneath years of exhaustion, survival, disappointment, and emotional heaviness. Do not keep standing at the doorway looking backward. Stop revisiting old chapters that already completed their purpose in your life. You cannot fully enter your future while constantly grieving the comfort of old seasons. I know those places once felt important to you. Some of them even carried beautiful memories. But your soul has outgrown what once held you, and remaining there too long will only continue draining your peace. Take a deep breath now, and let yourself trust the process unfolding around you. I have not brought you this far just to abandon you in uncertainty. Every difficult season prepared you for this moment. Every delay shaped your patience. Every heartbreak deepened your discernment. Every lonely night strengthened your ability to hear my voice more clearly. None of it was wasted, my child. The journey ahead will ask you to trust me differently than before. It will ask you to release control, soften your guarded heart, and stop defining yourself through old pain. But it will also bring freedom into places where fear once ruled you completely. It will bring healing into wounds you thought would always remain open. It will bring clarity where confusion once consumed your thoughts daily. Come walk with me now instead of resisting what your spirit already knows. Open your hands. Release the need to understand every detail immediately. Let your heart become willing again. The future waiting ahead of you carries more peace, alignment, restoration, and purpose than the life you are leaving behind. Your life will never be the same after this season, my child. And one day, you will thank me for not allowing you to stay where your spirit was slowly disappearing. My child, the journey ahead will change everything, not only for you, but also for the countless souls I desire to reach through this message before their hope disappears completely. I am calling people from every broken place, every lonely night, and every weary battle back into my presence through words like these. When you give through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are helping build pathways for my voice to travel farther into the lives of those crying out for rescue. This is not a small act in my eyes. It is a seed placed into holy ground, and the harvest attached to obedience will follow you into seasons you have not yet seen. Did I not promise that I will open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing there will not be room enough to contain? I am still faithful to sustain those who sustain my work. The fire of this mission must continue burning brightly while so many hearts are still searching for truth. Do not wait another moment. Send your super thanks now. Become a member today, or so through the PayPal link in the video description, and help carry my word to the people who desperately need it. Before you leave, I want you to think about the people in your life who may be carrying silent battles right now, just like you have. Share this message with at least 3 people you care about, because sometimes one moment of truth, comfort, or hope can reach a heart exactly when it is needed most. Let this light travel farther than your own story, my child, and trust that I can use your kindness to remind someone else they are not alone. And before you go, I want you to leave this declaration in the comments. I am ready for the life God has prepared for me. Let those words rise from your spirit, not just your hands, because something inside you is already stepping out of the old season and into something new. This is not the end of your story, my child. Your life is shifting, your heart is awakening, and what once held you back will not have the final word over your future. Your old season is ending, my child, and you were not led to this message by accident. Subscribe and keep walking with me through these moments of healing, transition, and breakthrough, because I am preparing your heart for a life that will look nothing like the pain you survived. Do not lose connection to the voice that has been calling you forward out of fear and into peace. Amen.